Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Braid and Tinker podcast. My name is Melanie, and this is a video cast about knitting, mainly the knitting that I do. So yes, welcome. It is Thursday morning, and it is Halloween. Woo. I have zero spooky knits, but I wonder. I mean, there are spooky knits. There are like sweaters with spooky patterns that you could do, I guess, but that's for people who are organized, and I am not one of these people. So, oh well. I'm trying some different things today. I've turned around my camera so I cannot actually see myself, but the video quality should be a bit better. I am recording with a new microphone, so the sound should be a little bit better. So yay for professionalizing stuff on YouTube. Anyway, yes, it's Thursday morning and I am ready to record, which is always very, very exciting. I didn't record a video for a couple of weeks because I kind of lost my knitting mojo. I didn't feel like knitting. I played a lot of Stardew Valley, which is a video game. I play that on my Nintendo, and I did some other crafts as opposed to knitting. I'm not super sure why I lost my knitting mojo, but it was just a couple of weeks. So don't worry, I found it back again. I've been knitting like a crazy person. One thing I haven't been knitting on is my Marley shawl, and I'll just show it. Actually, I think I've knit like maybe a couple of rows, so it's not as bad as it seems. It is beginning to get quite big. I'm also, again, awkwardly in the middle of the row again, so it's really weird to show this, but yeah. It's getting really, really big. I'm still on my first two balls, but they're getting very small. So I think I'm just gonna knit these up and then grab my other balls for this project, maybe knit a little bit more of the brioche, and then quickly start the garter section. I think it will be finished then. I really, really love this project. It's so soft, and I wish you could smell this, but it smells so sheepy. And I think it's not it's not this one, it's the Tweedy yarn, the Pickles Merino Tweed. Oh, it smells so good. It's amazing. And I just love the little pops of colour in this yarn. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, it's a fun yarn. I really love this combination. I think it works together really well. It's very autumnal foresty colours and very fun. And I can't wait to wear this actually, even though, so I got a new coat. Because I've been cycling to work a couple of days a week, and it's quite a distance, and it does rain quite a bit here at the moment. So I got a Gore-Tex coat, which is waterproof, but it's still sort of breathable stuff. It's quite expensive, but if you're out in the morning on your way to work on your bike for 50 minutes, that's 50, not 15, it's 50 minutes. And then after that I have to wait, like be at work for 8.5 hours, and then not smell like a terrible dog. It's actually worth it. So yeah, I got a new coat. But the thing is with the Gore-Tex, you're quite limited because you're looking for something that's like a good fit and that is like comfortable, and you're looking at all these practical elements, and the last thing that comes into play is, do I like the color? And the one I have, it's fine. It's like a lighter green color. It's okay, but I don't think I would like if there was like a black one or a dark blue one of the one that I liked, I would have picked those, but they weren't available. I mean, there are Gore-Tex coats in those colors, but they had like fitting or sizing issues. So yeah, I guess convenience over, or comfort over fashion, with those types of coats. Anyway, so the color is so different from something that I would usually pick. So this shawl is not going to work with that coat. But it doesn't really matter. I have different winter coats for when I'm not cycling. So I'm still going to get a lot of wear out of this. And honestly, what I do is just shove my shawl in my backpack and wear it at the office a lot. Because my office, I don't know what it is, but they crank up the AC quite a bit and it's quite cold. And then there's like, I think it's because it's like a man-woman thing, but some of the guys walk around in like t-shirts, and then me and some of the other girls are walking around in like sweaters, and then we have a shawl and maybe something on our legs because we're sitting down all day and we're just like freezing. So anyway, office problems. Yeah, it's freezing. I love having a warm shawl for that stuff. So this is the Marley shawl by Andrea Mowry. I have knit this shawl before in different colours, and it's been one of my go-to wear shawls. Yeah, basically ever. I just love there's something about the brioche that makes it super warm and comfortable and a nice wear. So yeah, I just really wanted to make another one in different colors and a different yarn and see how I like that. So that is this project. I haven't worked a ton of it because I've been working on some other stuff. My next project is, so last month or actually the beginning of this month, I launched a pattern to Ravelry called the Odeline socks. I have one of them here. It's not on the blocker. And they have been very well received. So thank you to everybody who has bought that pattern. It really, really means a lot to me that people are enjoying knitting that pattern. I put a lot of time and effort into it. Thank you also again to my amazing test knitters who helped me out so much with that. And yeah, so I was really excited that so many people would support also, because it's also support for this podcast really, because it means that I can continue, making fun stuff and making fun content for this YouTube channel. So yeah, anyway, so I thought, oh, I have like a ton of sock yarn. Okay, tangent. But this weekend I cleared away some of my sort of stash that was hiding under my desk. I bought a little cabinet with see-through drawers, and I had a big Space Saver bag. Actually, I had two big Space Saver bags full of yarn under my desk. And I cleared out one of them and put them into the little cabinet. And so I only have one giant Space Saver bag full of yarn left under my desk that is mostly filled with knits, sort of planned knits from things that I bought at Oslo Strikker Festival. So yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds, I guess. I do think sort of like handling all this yarn whilst I was clearing it away this weekend does make me think, okay, maybe I should not buy so much yarn for a little bit and just sort of like work through the things I have, because the things that I have are really nice and I'm never going to get to them if I keep buying new stuff and sort of like be distracted by the latest thing, right? So anyway, I remembered I had a wonderful ball of Mondim yarn in my stash. This is a sock yarn by Retrosario Rosa Palmoir in Portugal. I think it's colorway 205. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought it would be really nice to see the Odeline socks in this pattern. I'm at a really awkward part of the heel and gusset decreases, so I apologize for that. I should have knit a little bit more so I could like give you a good view, but this is what the pattern looks like, and I think it's really fun to see it in a lighter color, as where the sock that I knit for the pattern photos is a very dark yarn, which I think is very pretty, but it's also nice to see it in a lighter color. This yarn does have like a light pooling because of the way that it's dyed. You can probably see it. It has like green and purple, well, more red, I guess. Green and pink red sections, and that does give a sort of striped effect, but it's more of a pooled striped effect. I really don't mind it. I think it's quite nice, but it might be something to be mindful of, that, yeah, this is the effect that you're going to get with that yarn. So yeah, my sister is actually knitting a pair of Odeline socks in some yarn that I dyed a long time ago that she has, and it looks so good. And she's also been putting it on her hand, and she's been saying like, Mel, you should make mittens out of this sock pattern. So yeah, it's something I've been thinking about, maybe doing a twist on the pattern so that you can make mittens out of them. I have been wearing my mittens, by the way, and because it's been freezing this past week, absolutely chilled to the bone, which is why I'm wearing my my winter fjell sweater, because it's the warmest thing I own and it's so comfortable. So love it. I have one more project that I've been working on a lot in the past couple of weeks, and that is the Stephen West mystery knit along, the Starflake mystery knit along. And so there is absolutely no way that I am spoiling anything for you, because all of the clues have been out for almost a week, and you've probably been seeing a lot of stuff on social media. People have finished their shawls and have posted photos to Instagram, which is all fine, but just in case you don't want to see this, I am now going to hold up an almost completed Starflake shawl. So if you don't want to see that, just skip ahead to the end of this video and, I don't know, don't look. So this is where I am. I'm again at super awkward, because this is apparently how I leave my projects. I knit until about halfway in a row and then I shove it back into the bag, which makes this super awkward. But this is, yeah, most of the pattern really. So it starts out with this star motif, then you have these broad garter bumped section going out. There is a brioche section, and because for me the main color was actually the gray, and then the contrast color was the lighter lichen color, and you were actually supposed to swap these out here, but yeah, I didn't do that. I really like the dark gray, so I kept that as sort of the front color for the brioche section. Then you work some stripy garter bumped section at the sides to make the shawl a bit longer. And then there's a whole bunch of lace part with giant yarn overs that make it very sort of lacy and floaty. I really like this section. It was kind of annoying to do because there are quite a number of really big yarn overs that you're doing, and the yarn overs themselves I find are fine. It's just that when you are working on the wrong side of them, you have to make them into stitches again. And there were some of the yarn overs you were making into 4 stitches. It was a double yarn over, so in one loop of the yarn over you would have to knit and purl, and then the next loop you would knit and purl, and you would end up with 4 stitches for one big hole basically. Yeah. Oh, I need to be really mindful because I think I'm going to lose my needles. I had to actually get a larger cable because I was knitting this on an interchangeable cable of 80 centimeters, and it was just way too small. So I ordered 120 centimeters, and it works a lot better. I can stretch it out more and see where I am. I think it will be useful also for knitting sweaters because it'll be bigger and it's a bigger size, so it's easier for fitting when you're doing top-down sweaters. I really like this section. I find it looks so, I don't know, so Art Deco for some reason. I really enjoy it. Now, at the top, you're supposed to knit this. These are just like garter rows, and you're supposed to knit them in one color, but I have quite a bit of both colors left, so I thought I would just stripe them. So I don't know, I think I quite like the striped effect at the top here, so I'm going to continue that for a bit. There is another section with some yarn overs, I believe, and then at the end of that there is a giant I-cord edging that you can do, and you can do it. I mean, I think the pattern obviously states that you either use the main color or the contrast color. I mean, you could do either one, just pick whatever of whichever of your colors you have most left, I would suggest. Or what I have seen people do is alternate both yarns in your I-cord bind off, so that you get an I-cord bind off that is like 3 or 4 stitches in one color and then 3 or 4 stitches in a different color, and it gives like a really nice stripy bind off effect. So I might look into that. It kind of depends on, after I get through everything, how much of each of these I have still left, because I might just pick, you know, the one that has the most left and go with that and not think about it. I mean, an I-cord bind off for all of these, this is a big shawl, has many stitches, and it's just not going to be fun. I'm not looking forward to that. It's going to be a couple of evenings, I think, for me. I'm not the best or not the fastest knitter out there, but yeah, I think so far I really like the star section. I wasn't too sure about this section. I love the brioche. The brioche gives it so much warmth and depth and makes for me, the pattern so interesting. And I love doing brioche. I just find the rhythmic making of the stitches in brioche is very enjoyable. The yarn overs, lacy part, I like it in how it looks. I didn't enjoy turning the yarn overs back into stitches all that much, but there we are. And now it's just some garter rows. It's a little bit more interest in one of the next sections, but I'm almost done and finished. I think this shawl will look really nice. I really am so happy with my colors that I have picked. I think this is going to be super wearable. It's probably not one of the most interesting ones. There are some amazing colors that people have chosen, like really bright gold and purple and pinks, and it looks so much more interesting in an Instagram photo. But I have to be honest with myself in terms of the colors that I gravitate to on a daily basis to wear. This is probably a good choice for me. So yeah, really excited about finishing this off and having this done. This also brings me to, so I am trying not to order yarn, which is really hard because a lot of people have been bringing out their fun Christmas hand-dyed yarns. But I have been able to not buy any at the moment. I still have Christmas yarn from last year left, so I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyway, I did buy some super fun Christmas stitch markers from Hannah, who is the Corner of Craft. This is her little Father Christmas stitch marker. And this is a little gingerbread house. Not sure if you can see that, otherwise I'll pop in some photos. And so what she does is bead these lovely stitch markers. And when I got them, because I ordered them and you see the photos online, but I hadn't realized that the beads would be so tiny and precious and ridiculously cute. And I just is immediately sort of interested in like, what are these tiny beads and how do I get them? And so I just looked, because I know that Hannah has like a ton of tutorials on her YouTube channel about how she does the bead weaving. And I think they're a little bit older, but you can just like go back through her videos. And so that's what I did. And I watched a ton of them. And she has amazing, because this stitching that she does on these stitch markers is a technique called brick stitching. And so she has a very good basic brick stitching tutorial video in which she explains sort of all the ways that you can do this brick stitching and how you do a foundation row of beads and then how you increase and decrease and all that stuff. So that was so helpful to watch. And then I just ordered some beads. And beads are not, if you are like used to ordering yarn for projects, then ordering beads is ridiculously cheap. I realize that it's a different material. But yeah, it was so fun to order like a bunch of different colors. These red Christmas ones, and these are my favorite. I need to order more. There are these like champagne gold colored ones, and these are really delicate mauvey pink ones, and some fun pink, purple, and some amazing copper colored beads that, so Derek and I always joke about this, that copper has like rebranded itself as rose gold and now it's like tripled in value. So yeah, these are my rose gold, these hot pink ones. It's got some of these needles. These are by, I think it's Tulip, and they are called beading needles if you are interested in size 10 short. And then the beads that I use are Mayuka Delicas in size 11. They are tiny. They are so tiny. The first time I held them in my hand, I just like no, my hands are too big for this. I can absolutely not do anything with this, but you get used to it. These are some stitch markers I made. These are little cups with marshmallows in them. I made a little popcorn. I made little Santa with his arms in his sides. I think this one's funny too. It's a little pink cassette tape from the 80s that when I was a kid I had a Barbie. I was super into Barbies, and one of them was Barbie and the Rockstar, and she came with a little cassette and it was pink, of course, and it was just a bunch of songs. And then I had a Walkman, and I remember that like when your Walkman would run out of batteries, they didn't just like stop, they would just slow down the Walkman, so Barbie would sound like Ken, because the songs would be super slow and her voice would get really low. And I did a little cactus. I think this one's too big for stitch markers, but I just like it anyway. And I really love the little cassette tape. I think it's cute. So I have absolutely zero plans on selling these stitch markers. They are quite a lot of effort to make. Although I did find you get better and better at it and you get faster. Like the first stitch marker you make, it's like, oh my god, this takes 100 hours for one of these. This is insane. And then you get better at it and faster. Oh, I dropped one. Anyway, so yeah, let me know in the comments if you would be interested in buying these. I might consider it if there's like a lot of requests for them. Otherwise I will not bother, and I'll just make them for myself and for my friends and family. But yeah, if like a lot of people are like, oh my god, I need a pink Barbie cassette beaded stitch marker, hook me up, I won't be mean and withhold them from you guys. But yeah, they're so cute and it's really fun to do. And so this is like great, I found, for when you do have like a low knitting mojo, just do something else. There's no like law that says you have to knit through your non-knitting mojo. No, just do a different hobby. Do some bullet journaling or doodling or beading or embroidery, cross stitch, anything really. There's so much to do. You don't have to knit, although I do love knitting. I do love knitting. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this week. Did I tell you I'm wearing Christmas socks? When I'm wearing Christmas socks, it means that I have run through all of my socks and they need to be washed, and the Christmas socks are like at the end of the box of socks, and I needed clean socks and there were only Christmas socks left. It's probably the same for most people who only wear hand knitted socks. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend. I know it's still Friday tomorrow, but whatever. Friday doesn't really count as a real work day, does it? I mean, they don't really expect you to do any work. They just want you to come in and have some coffee and talk to colleagues, and then it's the afternoon and you can have some drinks and then go home again. Fridays are the best, absolute best. Have a good weekend. Do so much knitting, or not. If you have lost your knitting mojo, have fun doing something else, and I'll hope to see you again soon. Bye.